So hello everyone, welcome to the weekly meeting. Today we're gonna work with the team. So Dr. Namar, when you are ready and your team, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being here this afternoon. Your presence highly appreciated. It seems like everyone is here, so let's get started. So today we have a diverse range of topics. First, we will delve into the complexities of multimorbidities in geriatrics. Then we'll explore the latest development in anti-amyloid drugs in the treatment of Alzheimer disease. After that, we will touch upon some effective public speaking strategies, and we'll conclude with some valuable tips in delivering an informed consent. So, with that being said, let's dive in. Our first topic will be on multimorbidities, which will be presented by Dr. Hamida. Dr. Hamida, the floor is yours. Please start your presentation.
Yes. Let me share my screen first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hamida Faris. I will present today on behalf of the Blue Team multimorbidity topics. Let's go in the first slide. We're going to see some definitions regarding multimorbidities. Multimorbidity is referred to a presence of two or more chronic conditions in a person at the same time. We may be confused between two terminologies such as multimorbidities and comorbidities. We're going to see there's a difference between multimorbidities and comorbidity. Comorbidity is referred to additional conditions which is comorbid, co-occurring experienced by a person who has a specific condition of interest. For example, we can consider any complication of particular disease as a comorbid. Let's give chronic or diabetes mellitus as an example. When a diabetic patient who develop cardiovascular disease, we can consider that as comorbid. In contrast, multimorbidities describe someone having two or more long-term chronic conditions without any of them holding priority over the others. For example, as a traditional example of hypertension, diabetes mellitus, the person also or the patient may have like depression, dementia, and other particular disease. Each one has its own properties and personality. Multimorbidities occur in decades earlier in socioeconomically deprived communities and is associated with premature deaths, poorer function and quality of life, and increased healthcare utilization. Mechanisms underlying the development of multimorbidities are complex and interrelated and multi-level, but are related to aging and underlying biological mechanisms and broader determinants of health, such as socioeconomic deprivation. Let's see the mechanism and pathophysiology regarding multimorbidity. Studying the mechanism and pathophysiology of multimorbidity is complicated by the heterogeneity of patient. Patient may have concurrent multimorbidities. For example, cardiovascular multimorbidities, such as combination of atrial fibrillation, coronary heart disease, and heart failure, where conditions have a shared pathophysiology, such as I said, like cardiovascular, atrial fibrillation, coronary heart disease had the same mechanism, but it's also its shared approach and management. Also, we have discordant multimorbidities, such as combination of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, depression, dyspepsia, and osteoarthritis, whereby the condition have unrelated pathophysiology and different treatment, and they may even contradictory. Nonetheless, the emerging literature on pathophysiology and mechanism of multimorbidity provide evidence of some common multifactorial pathways. Mechanism can be considered in three broad areas. Number one, we have aging and inflammation. Number two, we have socioeconomic, psychosocial, and behavioral determinant of health. And number three, we have medication related. We're gonna discuss each one individually. Number one, we have aging, inflammation, and multimorbidity. The body of literature on the mechanism connecting aging and the development of multimorbidity is increasing. The hallmark of aging include genomic instability, epigenetic effect, telomere attritions, loss of proteases, and alter intracellular communication, mitochondrial dysfunction, and deregulated nutrient sensing and cellular senses, and stem cell exhaustion. Here, this diagram can conclude the cofactors for or the multi-factor for multimorbidities. We have social factors, socioeconomic, psychosocial, and behavioral determinant. Also, we have biological aging and inflammation. And the third one, which has like less contributing effect, like medication. The second one is social, psychological, and behavioral factor. Socioeconomic, psychological, and behavioral determinants of health are associated with development of multimorbidities. Socioeconomic deprivation measured by household income, total household wealth, or household area, and lower education levels are associated with higher multimorbidities prevalence and development of multimorbidity at younger age. The third one is medication-related mechanism. Medication and polypharmacy may also contribute to the development of multimorbidity. Several medications are associated with increased risk of diabetes mellitus and dyslipidemia. For example, antipsychotic. Similarly, medication with anticholinergic effect are associated with increased risk of cardiovascular event and cognitive impairment or dementia. How to diagnose multimorbidities? As multimorbidity is a coexistence of two or more chronic conditions, diagnosing a multimorbidity is in clinical practice is rarely problem because the clinic and the clinician and the patient usually agree with conditions and currently active or relevant. However, deciding or diagnosing when multimorbidities is sufficiently severe or impactful, that is requires specific attention, or when the management of single disease need to be adapted, including not following single disease guidelines or shifting to more palliative approach to care is more difficult. How to manage multimorbidity? Management of multimorbidity requires an appropriate balance between single disease focus and multimorbidity care. Moreover, multimorbidity requires care that is both patient-centered and family-centered, prioritizing what matters most to individual and the individual's career. Ensuring care that is effectively coordinated and minimally disturbed and align with patient values and prioritizing. How to prevent multimorbidities? Primary prevention of multimorbidity has been studied heavily, in part because such studies would potentially need long-term intervention and decade of follow-up to evaluate possible long-term benefits. Preventive measures for multimorbidity are related to psychosocial and behavioral factors, including the broad social determinant of health perspective, as described in mechanism and pathophysiology. The health styles engaging in physical activities, not smoking, eating 5 portions of fruits and vegetables per day, and not consuming alcohol in excess, seem to be associated with increased life expectancy regardless of multimorbidity. Thank you so much. This is the end of my part. If you have any question, you can ask your question after finishing this presentation. Thank you so much. Dr. Namarik, next.
Yes. Well done, Dr. Hamida. Any questions for Dr. Hamida? Or should we proceed? All right. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Hamida, for the great presentation. You've enhanced our insights and knowledge regarding the multimorbidities in geriatric patients. So thank you so much. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is about the new anti-amyloid drugs in treating Alzheimer's disease. This will be presented by Dr. Nidhal. Dr. Nidhal, we are ready whenever you are. Please start your presentation.
Okay. Dr. Hamida, could you stop sharing your screen? I can't share mine, actually. Dr. Hamida, if you're, no, thank you.
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Nidhal Siddig. I'm going to present anti-amyloid drugs for Alzheimer's disease. Okay. I want to tell you something that these are new medication. Like when I was searching for it and when I was looking for them, I found like there is a lot of references, a lot of researches, and a lot of studies has been done, and now they are under study of these medications. So these are purely new medications. So before starting going through these drugs, let's talk generally about Alzheimer and about what is the relationship between anti-amyloid or amyloid and Alzheimer, and why we choose it. Like if we give the patient anti-amyloid drug, he will get benefit from them in the progression or the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. So the first slide, what is Alzheimer? According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorder and Stroke, they define Alzheimer's disease as a progressive neurodegenerative disease that occurs when nerve cells in the brain die. And when we lose the nerve cells and the neurons in the brain, that's a manifestation will come later in form of impaired memory, thinking, behavioral changes, confusion, restlessness, personality behavioral changes, impaired judgment, impaired communications, inability to follow directions, language deterioration, impaired thoughts, awareness, even visual and spatial awareness, even it will lead to emotional apathy. And when we notice that at the beginning, it will just start with memory loss and few like behavior changes or cognitive decline. But with time, this would be more severe, and the patient of Alzheimer's disease he was simply can't just coordinate few stuff, or he has some memory loss or some disturbances in some few stuff like behavior, confusion, restlessness. He will end up by being completely independent and completely dependent on other people, and he will lose his dependency, and even after that it could be fatal. Okay, so this is the main thing. I want to just look at this. There is something scary that I have noticed, that when we look at the most common causes of death in people in the United States, I found that Alzheimer's disease is number 6, which is really scary. Like I wasn't thinking about it like this. And again, if we look at this photo, we will notice that regardless of the race or ethnicity, which they mentioned here, like in adults, people who age 65%, 14% in African American, and 12 and 10% in Hispanics and non-Hispanic people, all of them, they have Alzheimer's disease. And if we see that, like if currently if in 2014 it was 5 million people had Alzheimer's disease, if this kept going on, it will reach 14 million of people by 2060, which is really a big thing, a big deal. I want to say another thing. They found that like regarding whole people who have Alzheimer's disease, 2/3 of them are women. So the main question now, why anti-amyloid, or why amyloid beta? What is the connection and what is the relation between amyloid beta and Alzheimer's? And why, if we targeted this amyloid beta, we will end up by benefit results and treatment for Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so let's out of generally, because before going into the slides, that we know that amyloid beta is the natural protein in our body. So, but in case of Alzheimer, in Alzheimer disease, this amyloid beta will get accumulated in the body, because there's the mechanism which will get loss of it out of the brain will be less efficient, and we won't be able to get loss of it. So it will just accumulate in the brain. And from the beginning, this amyloid beta coming from where? It comes from the amyloid precursor protein, as we know. So, and this also precursor protein, it has various forms in form of amyloid beta 40, amyloid beta 42, amyloid beta 41, all like this. But we find that there's a lot of amyloid beta 42 in Alzheimer people. So after this amyloid beta accumulated, it will accumulate with each other, and it will form clumps. These clumps, which we call it amyloid plaques. And these clumps will precipitate where? Will precipitate in the brain, and it will just lead to affection and the death of the neuronal cells. And they found that, I don't know, I can't use, like, I can't draw, but they found that if there is this neuron, if we can imagine is this neuron, it's get affected by this or this amyloid plaques predisposing on it, it will be easily to this amyloid precursors and plaques to go to the closest and another nearby neurons and nerve cells, which will mean that we will lose easily the synapses between the neurons, and we will lose the function, and we will like eventually will lead to death of these neurons. So with the end result, it will lead to neurotoxicity by accumulation of these plaques and the death of these nerve cells. This, which will lead to this neurocognitive decline or dysfunction and memory impairment in the Alzheimer's disease. That's the mean. And they noticed that at the beginning, these, like the nerve which is affected the beginning is the nerve at or neurons at the hippocampus and entorhinal lobes. That's why the first signs or the first symptoms which the patient with Alzheimer's disease come with is loss of memory. And after that, it would go to the cerebral cortex. That's why it would lead to let's say affection of the behavioral changes, social behavioral dysfunction, reasoning dysfunction like this, and eventually it will lead to brain damage, and over time all these abilities will lead to complete dysfunction of the brain, and even those people, as we said, will be completely independent, completely losing their independency and their function, and ultimately this would be fatal. So let's go back to the slide. So people with, I will just repeat myself, people with Alzheimer's disease have too much of protein called beta amyloid in their brains. And these proteins come together, as we said, to form these plaques, and they build up between nerve cells in your brain. And we said, like, since it builds up in one of them, it will lead to going to the another one. It's called neurons, and keep them from communicating with each other. As we are losing the synapses, and that contribute to memory and think the problems. And studies show that this protein can also bind to nerve cell receptors, causing a reaction that is the way the synapses that passes information between the neurons. Okay, so let's look at this. Look at this diagram. It will just also repeat what we have already mentioned, like here we said, like Alzheimer's disease, we found that there is predisposing factor or some factors that make people more susceptible to get Alzheimer's disease. One of them, aging. We found that more than 65 more predisposed to get Alzheimer's disease rather than young people, and also familiar AD mutations, and also other risk factors like environmental like this, and genetic risk factor, which is ApoE4 allele. Please remember, keep in your mind ApoE4 allele, because we will mention it again. So this ApoE4 allele is contributing or makes the people more predisposed and more susceptible to get Alzheimer's disease. And all these factors, when happen together, it will lead to accumulation of A beta amyloid, and which will lead to what? Which will lead to loss of trophic support, oxygen burst, like reactive oxygen species, disruption of calcium homeostasis, and excitotoxicity, inflammation, autophagy, mitochondrial dysfunction, synaptic dysfunction, and which will lead to memory loss at the beginning. So the another thing I want to tell, like we kept talking about amyloid and how it affects Alzheimer's disease. Amyloid, yeah, it playing a major part or a significant role in the pathology of Alzheimer's disease, but it's not the only thing. There is other factors. There is tau tangles, there is a neuroinflammation, there is a lot of other stuff may affect the brain, like synaptic dysfunction also, which will lead to be part of a complex pathology of Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so the another question, we answered the first question, what is the relationship and what is the connection between the anti-amyloid and the Alzheimer's? And the second question, what is the potential benefits of reducing the amyloid beta accumulation? Like, what's the benefits that we would gain if we started giving those people these medications, like anti-amyloid drugs? So the first thing will come to us is slowing disease progression. They found that after starting this anti-amyloid disease, because the primary goal is to stopping or targeting that plaque which is formed secondary to A beta amyloid. So we will target this accumulation of these amyloid plaques, and by this we will hoping to decrease the progression of the disease, and we will hoping to this will decrease the progression of the cognitive decline and cognitive dysfunction through time. The second thing, improve cognitive performance with the same mechanism. Like some studies and trials shows that by reducing the amyloid beta, this will lead to improve the cognitive function of Alzheimer's disease. But I want to say something in this. Let's remember that all this stuff, like anti-amyloid or other drugs of Alzheimer's disease, they are not curable. They are not definitive treatment. They will not reverse disease. They will just help with or delay the progression. That's it. So this improves cognitive function and also enhance quality of life by slowing the disease progression and improving the cognitive function. Definitely, this may enhance the overall quality of life in individuals with Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so the next thing is potential prevention. Yeah, this is another thing. They found it, like they gave this drug, actually the anti-amyloid drugs, to younger people who are not even have Alzheimer's disease, but who are susceptible to get Alzheimer's disease. And they found that those people who already started this anti-amyloid, either they didn't get when they get older, they're like they didn't start any signs or symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, or even you can say it delayed the onset of the disease. If it is they suspected it will be started by 67, they didn't start till 70 or started by 75 stages. And again, combination therapy, we can use anti-amyloid drug as synergistic effect with other drugs for Alzheimer's disease. That's why they will be more powerful and they will lead to better benefit and better effect. Okay, what else? Research insights. This means like since we have something we are researching on and we are doing our research upon, this means that we can keep our knowledge updated, sorry, and this knowledge can help in the future treatment strategies, and we can keep searching and we can keep looking for new drugs and new relationship with this amyloid and with other things which contributed into pathology of Alzheimer's disease. So now we can start the drugs which is already registered. Okay, I want to tell you something. I have mentioned just few or just a few number of drugs, but when you Google it or when you go and look for it, you will find there is a lot of drugs, but the majority of them either they studied them and after that they stopped them because the clinical trial failed or there was some like non-beneficial effect or the side effects, serious side effects, or some of them is still not approved by the FDA, but they are the main thing. So the first one, aducanumab, is designed to target let's keep in our mind that all of them, since they are ending by MAP, they are monoclonal antibody. So, and all of them, they are targeting the beta amyloid. So all of them, they have a common mutual mechanism of action with a little difference, or just few differences. So aducanumab is designed to target and remove specific form of beta amyloid that accumulate into plaques, which may contribute to cell death and tissue loss in areas of the brain particularly important for memory, thinking, learning, and behaviors. And the brain goes on creating beta amyloid, but aducanumab decreases the amount. Its removal may also help other processes in the brain to operate more efficiently. Obviously, the another thing, which people we are given these drugs. I want to tell you this also common for all drugs. They found that all these drugs, they use them in the treatment of mild to moderate or early stage Alzheimer's disease. I never seen any of these anti-amyloid drugs used in advanced or early stage of Alzheimer's disease. This is the first thing. The second thing, to start giving those patients or those people anti-amyloid, they have to be sure that those people have an evidence of a buildup of amyloid plaque in the brain. Like, we can't give anybody with Alzheimer's disease, early stage or mild dementia, this medication. No, we should be sure at the beginning that there is evidence of buildup of amyloid plaques in the brain. Thus, we should do a confirmatory test in form of CSF analysis or amyloid PET to be sure about this buildup of amyloid plaques. Then after that, if we find there is a real buildup, we can start them. But if we find the patient in mild to moderate with no buildup of amyloid plaques, maybe there is another pathology contributed to his current Alzheimer, or his current dementic features. So definitely we won't give them anti-amyloid drugs. Okay, another thing. So we said this would be common for all of them. Another thing, the side effects. When we come to the side effects, there is also one side effect is common for all of them, which is number one, amyloid-related imaging abnormalities. So I will go to it and I will cover. So what is amyloid-related imaging abnormality? They found that when they started giving those patients anti-amyloid antibodies or anti-amyloid antibodies, they start associated with some kind of changes in the MRIs, radiological changes. These radiological changes were in form of either H or E. That's why they classified it into area H or area E. Area is abbreviation for amyloid-related imaging, and H for hemorrhage or hemosiderin, E for edema or effusion. So this means they found that when those people started giving them this medication through time, they will develop these genes in their brain. Either there is microhemorrhages or hemosiderin deposition in their brain cells, or even they may get effusion and edema, but you can't see them except through the MRI. And this is the most scary thing, that the people may develop these things and these signs, but you can know you can know that they already have hemorrhage in their brain because it's asymptomatic at the beginning. And the patient just will come to you with a serious signs and with intracerebral hemorrhage and serious presentation with intracerebral hemorrhage, because it's just accumulated, that's microhemorrhage accumulated, and due to that in the stage of very big hemorrhage, the patient will come to you in a serious condition. So this is the main thing. The another thing, E is effusion or edema. So the most scary thing is it is usually asymptomatic, but also it could be asymptomatic in form of headache, fall, vision loss, or gait instability, but the majority of people are asymptomatic. So what are we going to do? So from the beginning, when we start giving those people this type of drug, we should follow up with them through the MRI to be sure that they won't develop this thing. Okay, there is another thing. I told you previously to in that diagram to remember the ApoE4, right? So the ApoE4 allele, they found that it is as it is relation, it has a relation, or it is related to the development of Alzheimer in people and makes them more susceptible to get Alzheimer. They found it is also make the people more susceptible to get this area thing, this amyloid related imaging abnormalities. They found that, and even they found that like homozygous people with ApoE4, they will definitely get this area event, while heterozygous may develop it, but they have higher chances to develop it more than people without this allele at all. So this will lead us to another thing. What is it? So before starting this type of drugs, you should check and see if this patient is ApoE4 carrier or not. And then you will decide. Let's say the patient came to you and you didn't check for him, and you just started giving him anti-amyloid, and the patient came to you with the symptoms or with the signs of this ARIA event, or you found on the MRI he has started ARIA event. So what you are gonna do, you will stop this drug and you will start giving steroid. Okay. So here is the types. There's ARIA E and ARIA H, and even they are putting scales according to them. MRI rating scale according to mild, moderate to severe, according to the appearance of them in the brain, and according to like the size of the area and the location. This is another, I think it's a very good image that show you like here in area E, there is edema. This we are gonna see on the MRI of those people who develop area E edema, like brain cells swollen. This is a swollen brachial edema in the left parietal occipital lobe. And here is the effusion. So if the patient develops this order, we call it area E. And here also, there is a microhemorrhage or hemosiderosis, superficial siderosis. This was what we are gonna see on the MRI images. Okay, so this also will lead us to the question, like, how is this area developed? Like, what is the mechanism of action of this area? I would say something. It is not well known, but there is some theories or some postulations that either two of these. Like first thing, either the context of the aging and neurodegeneration, the integrity of the blood-brain barrier become compromised, resulting to increased permeability, and notably, amyloid plaque have been hypothesized to counteract this blood-brain barrier leakage. However, upon the administration of these antibodies in form of anti-amyloid, these plaques are targeted and subsequently eliminated, and potentially uncovering that hemorrhage, that microhemorrhage, and that's why it will lead to that hemorrhage thing, which is ARIA H. The second postulation or second theory that they found that there is maybe immunological thing, like alternate perspective posits that the introduction of antibodies into the bloodstream triggers an immune inflammatory response as part of the treatment regimen. And so this theory, this immune reaction thing, might lead to precipitate microhemorrhage and lead also to that hemorrhage, which is in form of RAH. These are theories which you could find for the mechanism of action, but it's still, as I said, this is not well known and it is not like well established yet. Okay, the second thing, another side effects for another side effect for adenosine, other than the ARIA, is headache, fall, allergic reaction, which is non-specific side effects, like it may occur with all other drugs. So the another one is lecanemab. Lecanemab is, as we said, we will repeat ourselves in everything again, in the mechanism of action and in the side effects and in the requirements. So lecanemab is appropriate, we said, for people with early Alzheimer's. We said all of them for early mild dementia of Alzheimer's disease with confirmation of elevated beta amyloid, which we said this is the required test before starting this medication in form of CSF analysis or amyloid PET test. Okay, side effects, same ARIA side effects, along with, so since we are giving lecanemab in form of IV infusion, they found that there are some side effects may raise up secondary to this infusion in form of fever, flu-like symptoms, nausea, vomiting, lightheadedness, or palpitation, or even breathlessness. Or also headache may occur. So since we repeated ourselves in everything, and we said there is the same mechanism of action, and there is just a few difference or a very small difference between them. So what is the difference between only these two, lecanemab and aducanumab? I want to tell you, like, there is just very few difference. So both of them target the amyloid, as you said, and they are working slightly different in different ways. They work in very slight different way. Why? Is aducanumab removes the beta amyloid from the brain, while lecanemab blocks the formation of amyloid plaques in the brain. This is the first difference. The second difference, lecanemab binds most strongly to protofibrils. Protofibrils, while aducanumab binds to the fibrils. All this is just forms of amyloid plaques. All of them just forms of amyloid plaques. That's it. Okay. Another thing I want to tell you, like, lecanemab is just approved recently in July. In this July 2023. Okay, the third one, gantenerumab. Gantenerumab is a monoclonal, again, is monoclonal antibody for the treatment of Alzheimer disease, and gantenerumab binds to A2 and kills aggregated beta amyloid fibers. So when we come to this, as I told you, some of them they stopped it. They found that in gantenerumab in the phase 3 of the clinical trial, it's what was stopped because they found that there is a lack of efficacy, and also when they given this gantenerumab to a younger patient and they follow up with them, they found that those people after 5 years of the treatment, it started getting cognitive decline or slow in the cognitive function. That's why it stopped. Okay, another thing, donanemab. Donanemab is humanized IgG1 monoclonal antibody again that recognize amyloid beta, a glutamate for amyloid beta that is aggregated in amyloid plaques, help to clear existing amyloid plaque burden from the brain. I want to say that it's pending FDA approval for treatment of early Alzheimer disease, but since 2021, the FDA just like started to recognize it as a breakthrough therapy and allowed the company which is working under it called Lilly to continue working on it. And in 2023, in 2021, sorry, again, they gave them something called accelerated approval. But still, they are working on the phase 3 to get what's called traditional approval. And they are trying to get it in this year. Those company, which we call, it's called Lilly, Lilly, in case I pronounce it wrong. Okay. So there's another thing. They found that when they comparing donanemab and aducanumab, they found there is a study called head-to-head study. They found that donanemab has a greater amyloid clearance and amyloid plaque reduction comparatively with, I'm so sorry for this, with aducanumab in early symptomatic Alzheimer disease. Okay, and nearly 40% of patients treated with donanemab had amyloid clearance at 6 months, compared with less than 2% of those who received aducanumab, which was approved in 2021 amid a great deal of controversy. Okay. This Danabik, sorry for the pronunciation, Danabistat. So if we notice that when we come to lanabistat, it is not MAP, so it is not monoclonal antibody. It is just inhibitor of base, which is the beta site of ABB, a cleaving enzyme 1. So they found that this is the beta secretation base that cleaves the ABB protein to release fragment called C99 fragment. This fragment becomes a substrate for subsequent gamma secretase cleavage and A-beta peptide generation. And the rationale of base inhibition is that it represents upstream interference with amyloid cascade, regardless of the species, of which species or aggregation state of A-beta, then exert toxicity in the brain. BACE inhibition sometimes envisioned as a long-term maintenance therapy to limit the A beta production after initial round of immunotherapy to remove existing amyloid deposits has been shown to reduce levels of A beta 140 and 42 in the brain and CSF and plasma in several animals during the study and even in human CSF and plasma. Also, it is still under study. It's not approved. Okay. The last one is solanezumab. Solanezumab is bind to this amyloid beta peptide that aggregate and form plaques in the brain that are an early pathological features of Alzheimer disease. Solanezumab binds the central epitope of monomeric amyloid beta. And this epitope known as nucleation site for A beta oligomerization, and it is these oligomers of A beta that are thought to be toxic to neuron. Okay, so this is coming to the explanation. That's why solanezumab is thought to be amyloid beta sink, in which that it facilitates the flux of amyloid beta from the central to the peripheral compartment, and this will increase the peripheral clearance and elimination of both the amyloid beta and the antibody itself. And amyloid beta plaques mostly consist of amyloid beta 42, and solanezumab binds to free amyloid beta, which causes amyloid beta 42 to solubilize to re-establish the equilibrium in the CSF. Okay. So there is good news. The good news in July 2023, the Medicare announced it will cover the prescription of anti-amyloid drugs, and the patient should be enrolled in a registry. And also they said that they will start thinking about even cover that test, which is a confirmatory test, to know if there is a buildup of amyloid or not in form of amyloid PET or CSF analysis. These are references. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you enjoyed it and you get anything from it. And if anybody has a question, please go ahead.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Nidhal, for the comprehensive presentation. The anti-amyloid drugs has always been an area of extensive research and study, and it's very impressive and reassuring to see such advancement in Alzheimer treatment. So thank you so much for the great presentation. Now that we've covered some fundamental knowledge, let's shift our focus towards learning and developing some skills. So our upcoming topic will be on public speaking skills, which will be presented by Dr. Safaa. Dr. Safaa, the spotlight is on you. Please start your presentation.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for introducing me, Dr. Namarik, and thank you, Dr. Hamida and Dr. Nidhal for this interesting presentation. Actually, it's very informative. Can you please, Dr. Namarik, present the show the slides?
Sure, just give me a second.
Mm-hmm. Can you please put in slideshow? Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Safaa Haimed, and now I will discuss with you the third topic for today, entitled of public speaking. Next, please. To know about public speaking is very important life skill for you guys. It's necessary for you when you have to make a class project, job presentation, or any organization meeting, or even when you go to family gathering, weddings, birthdays, and anniversary. Next, please. So is there any way to improve your public speaking skills? Yes, there is. The first thing you can do is to watch any experts. And when you watch them, you have to put in mind to pick up something like from their posture, their tune, their volume, their eye contact, attire, and many more. And actually, when I talk about this, I always remember these people. Next. When you watch the US election, you're gonna find Trump and how he speaks in very strong manner. You think that he have control, and you think that he's in control of everything. You can inspire by him. I also Clinton, when I find her spotting for someone in the audience as she know everyone, and actually she don't know anyone, just to show that she has so many friends. That's very inspiring. Next. The second is dress to impress. The first message you send to the people when you dress yourself properly, it's not important to be formal, but you have to dress according to the situation or event you have. And you have to remember that overdress is much, much better than underdress. Next. If you can visit the place where you're gonna present and have a look, try to check on your microphone and see how the voice will be. That will be much better to build your confidence. Next. You have to know as much as possible from the material or the thing that you're going to present, because if you have any unexpected question, you will avoid the redness and sweating and stuff like that, and you do be prepared for everything. Next. There is 6 points we gathered. You have to put in mind and consider before you present: to be clear, to be concise, concrete, coherent, and complete, and correct in what you present. And to attract the people and audience, you have to know something or share something no one know, or about strange question they may think, and they join you and try to listen to you, so you prevent them to sleep. Next. Everyone of you have his body language and personality, and sometimes when you talk, sometimes you do, you find yourself in mirror, or you record yourself on camera, you can find that you have like sometimes improper body language or movement you can do. When you record yourself and see what you do, you can fix that. Also, some people find that if they share with the people your own story, the audience will be like more relevant, more like want to hear you more. Next. Practice and practice and practice. Try to hear your voice, your tone, your volume, and your speed. Sometimes when you go in slides, you find yourself like fast, and no one can understand what you say. And also there is like filler words. Sometimes you repeat some words like, you know, or that's not good when you present. You have to change your words. You have to be new every time. And also there is some areas in your presentations, it's not easy. You may need to insert photos to clear it up, or to add more slides. Next. It's good to have good feedback from your classmates, from your professor, and to check what you do wrong, then correct it, and after that present it in front of them again and have a feedback again. Next. Prepare for unexpected things can happen. Sometimes bad thing can happen, like no internet, loss of PowerPoint, the cell phone ringing. Sometimes you forget your handout or index card for me, when my baby starts to cry, I will confuse. I will not know anything I can talk about. Next. Some tips you may do and show you show respect for the people, like you repeating audience questions. When you do that, the audience will feel like you respect them. The second is to give them anything they go back home with it, like brochure or something to remember what you was talking about today. Respect the audience time. Don't be so long with them. Don't read just from the slide and no adding from you. Defer from answering questions and don't make so much slides so the audience will like sleep. That's it for today. I hope this presentation will be helpful for you. Now it's your turn to schedule your next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Safaa, for the great presentation and for sharing these tips about the public speaking. They're incredibly helpful. Right, now that we've covered some fundamental knowledge, let's shift our focus towards learning and developing some skills. So our next topic will be on learning how to deliver an informed consent. This will be presented by Dr. Mohammed Alsheikh. Dr. Mohammed Alsheikh, please start your presentation.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, fellows. My greetings, Dr. Nadir. So, as Dr. Anamariq said, I will be talking about informed consent. As you know, doctors, informed consent is one of the most important ethical issues in doing a research. Okay, so informed consent, it is a consent that involves procedure by which an individual may choose whether to participate in a research study or not. As you can see, doctors, there are two types of informed consent. There is a direct consent and there is the substitute or third-party consent. Regarding the first type, here the agreement obtained directly from the person involved in the study. And this is the most preferred type. The second type is given by someone other than the person involved in the study. Okay, when we do this type, if the person is not having the capacity to make a decision, or he is independent, he's dependent on others for his welfare. Okay, so from whom we take this consent? From children and people with cognitive or emotional disabilities. Okay, so these are the types. Okay, let me scroll to the okay. So next we are going to talk about elements of the informed consent. As you can see, there are three important elements. The first one is information. You need to be sure that you deliver the information of the research to the individual. Okay. Second, the capacity. The individual who will participate in the research should have the full capacity to make his decision. Okay. Third, voluntariness is a must in a research. Okay. Let us talk about these three elements again. Regarding capacity, doctors, the patient or the person involved should have the ability to understand the information received, and he should be able to make his own choice based on his evaluation. So what is the difference between competent or incompetent person? This is based on his ability to acquire, retain, and evaluate information. Who are the incompetent persons? Children are considered incompetent, patients with cognitive or emotional disabilities, and incarcerated patients. Okay, rights through informed consent are legally protected for this incompetent patient. We can obtain permission from parents or legal guardians. Okay, doctors, I need something from you. Can you remind me what is the difference between capacity and competency? Any idea?
I think capacity is determined by the doctors and competency determined by judge.
Yes, excellent. Competency by judge or by the court. So this capacity is determined by us. Okay, final slide. We are going to discuss the other two elements, which are the information of the research and voluntariness. So we should know how to deliver the information of the research, okay, and how we will present it to the patient for making him wider to accept or to refuse participating in our research. So the information must be planned and presented by the researcher in a way making it fully understandable by the participant. We should use simple language for participants to understand and to make their choice. The final element is voluntariness. So participants should have the free power of choice without any intervention or without forcing or threatening them to participate in our research. So this is all what we are going to talk about in informed consent. If you have any question, please don't hesitate. Okay, thank you, colleagues. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for your presentation. It's a critical topic and you explained it well. So thank you. Well done.
Thanks, Dr. Mohammed.
So this ends our presentation for today. On the behalf of the Blue team, we hope that the presentations provided valuable information for you and were beneficial for all of you. Thank you all for attending, and thank you, Dr. Nadir, for your guidance. To conclude, I would like to leave you with a quote from John Dewey, which says, "Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself." So have a great one, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Namar, and the team, all the presenters. Thank you so much for excellent and great presentations, and I hope it were informative to the attendees today. Thank you for attending, for all the attendees. So next, maybe we can go to the updates, if there is any updates. I'd like to congratulate those teams who developed the apps. We have 2 mobile applications uploaded and presented or accepted at the Google Play Store. Any words from the team leaders? Go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Nadir. Hi, everyone. So yes, our app, the VaxAware application, which is the adult vaccination app, and also another app that I was a co-leader for, which is the pressure care, the adult or the blood pressure measurement application. Both were accepted to Google Play Store, closely, maybe within 8 hours apart. And that was great. So I would like to thank Dr. Nader for this great opportunity and all the team members who participated in making this a reality. And we're looking forward to making more applications and to involve more fellows in this interesting process. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you and your team, and thanks to the other team for things work hard and get what they wanted. So good job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks. Any other comments, any other ideas, any other updates as far as products going?
Dr. Nader, I would like to thank you. So I thank you so much for uploading our letter of recommendation and doing that thing of in behalf of us. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I wish you all the best and good luck with the application process. Hopefully we will hear good news about the interviews and hopefully many of
Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you. Thanks. Good luck. Dr. Anna, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Nader. How are you?
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you. I have an idea about making application about cancer screening. I would like to ask you about this, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. What's your idea?
My idea is to develop application for cancer screening test. I want Dr. Amal to help me and make an group members participate in this application.
Sure. So can you elaborate a little bit just to understand what you want to achieve? What do you think the users will be?
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Yes. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. I have an idea about making application for cancer screening test.
So cancer screening test?
Yes, cancer screening test for adults or for all age groups.
So,
if you don't mind, so I need Dr. Amal and anyone else willing to participate in this.
Sounds good. So
about your yeah.
Great. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So Dr. Amal will get in touch with you and we'll see about the details, what's the next step and how to build the team, and then hopefully you will be the team leader or some of the members will be the team leader. So the idea is to divide the task. What we want to do, usually we want to see if there is any similar mobile application in the market first. And if there is, we will try to find the gap. What apps they don't provide, then we will focus on that area. So
okay, it will be coordination. Yeah, it will be co-leaders as vaccination, adult vaccination between me and Dr. Aman, inshallah.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Excellent. Go ahead, Dr. Haimed.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Nader. So this is my second week joining. I have an idea about giving a presentation about clinical documentation and note writing, as right now, currently I work as a clinical documentation specialist, and I am applying for residency this season, and I know that a lot of participants here are applying for residency. So I think note writing is like a very important and critical part for any applicant to know about. So I wanted to know if there's like any slots available, and so I don't know if I was assigned to any of the like groups or anything. So I want to know an idea on how to like approach this.
So there are a few fellows who came along lately, so we will create a new team. So what we do usually, we assign a team that presentation like today, one of the teams presented, then next week there is a different team. And we usually try to limit the presentation for the team members each week. But sometimes we can ask other fellows who are willing and have time to present their topic during that meeting. So we are not very rigid as far as who will present when. Sometimes people might have limitation or issues like what's happening in Sudan. So if they cannot present, then we will ask other fellows to do that. So for you, Hind, and the newcomers, we will assign you to a team, and then we will find a spot or one day for that team to present, and hopefully you will have time to present your topic. It's an important topic about how to write a note and how to document, and the EMR. Some of them might be different from one hospital to another. So at least if you have an idea about using one EMR, then you will be familiar, and then it's going to be just faster for you to document. So thank you so much, Dr. Hind. I'll be in touch with you, and then we will assign you a team. You are the newcomers, new fellows. We will work with you so that you can present. Thank you so much for your willingness and participation.
Sure, of course. Thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Nafisa. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. Thank you, Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to congratulate you about the app and my excellent team as well. They did a great job. We also we had the Spanish and the Arabic. The Arabic, they're almost done. The Spanish, they said they will finish their translation by today. Then I would like to update you regarding putting the blood pressure reading in different boxes, and also the creating the diagram with it. So we had a problem with the release itself, so we couldn't release it. So the one that's published right now, that's actually a new release. That's why we didn't work on it. So I just will tell you that I will start working on it after I just submit the ERAS application. And after that, I will just upload the new release. And by that time, we'll be already finished from the Spanish and the Arabic version as well.
Sounds good. So at least we have a version that we can work on. And usually we start with that, and then you can get feedback. And as you said, we can either fix problems if there are some, or improve and get some new features. So we will work on that. It's always a new task or improvement. There's always room for improving the app itself. But I think you did the great work. Building the app itself is a huge step. Then we can go into the details.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much. That's it was nice. Even the app, like the final picture of it, it's great. It looked great. I'm so happy with it, and so happy with my team, especially Dr. Amal. I cannot thank her enough about her effort, especially when we come to uploading the app. We had a lot of technical difficulties, so she's all the time available and had the time to help her with it. So thank you so much, Dr. Nader, for this opportunity, and all of my team. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to ask you both, thank you so much, both of you and your team. And I want to ask them, Nafisa and Amal, if you can, when you have time, lay down the steps as far as how to do it when you're uploading the is it KPK or the file to the Google Play Store.
Play.
There are some steps, but from your experience, you might have a better understanding and you can summarize it in a nutshell. That would be great if you have time. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And we will share, there's a guide in YouTube because they have like for the Google Play, they have a new version for uploading thing, especially when it comes to Cotilla as well. So his video is amazing. Like we
So if
follow
you
every
collect
step
all
by step.
the videos together, that would be great. Thank you.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And we will add the thing that, especially when it comes to the pictures, that's also a problem. Adjusting the size, that's the one thing I think is not just mentioned in the video, and we will do that. No problem, of course, there's no problem. Thank you so much, Dr. Nadi.
Thank you, and again, good luck and congratulations to both teams.
Thank you, greatly appreciate that.
Thanks, great idea. All right, Dr. Marina, and then followed by Dr. Dalia. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Nadir. I'm new to this team too. This is my second week, and I would also like to be added to any team to present or whatever activity is allowed here. So please keep me posted about it. Thank you so much.
Someone will.
Sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If Amal or someone can add the new or share the link for the group, the WhatsApp group, so that Marina and maybe Ala Omar and the new fellows can join the big WhatsApp group. That would be great. Okay, Dr. Daria, go ahead, followed by Dr. Ahmed and Safaa.
Okay, hi, Dr. Nadir. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, I had the same question as the previous one. I just joined. This is my first time in this room. So I was just about to ask how to join the team.
Oh yeah.
So you just answered that.
Thanks. So someone will be in touch. Go ahead, Dr. Anil, followed by Dr. Sahar.
Hello, Dr. Nadir, everyone.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Sahar.
Sorry, Dr. Amal, sorry about that. So I just want to ask a question. I think it's already have been asked. So regarding our ERAS, so there's a lot of conflict about should we add the fellowship to the postgrad or just the experience? I think someone has asked this. I just want to make sure. Thank you so much.
So the fellowship can be added to anywhere in your application. So we don't have a specific area. So if you want to add it to both places, that's fine. If you wanted to add it to one place, that's fine. Because the fellowship is unique in that it's not a clinical by itself, but we touch based on some of the clinical aspects, like the informational, the knowledge base that will help you see mostly all the patients, but you can apply the same concept to other specialties. The focus will be on skills and experience and research part, so this will apply to your research part in the application. In general, if you work on a project with a team, then you will develop some type of skills. And if you have the product as, let's say, poster or manuscript published or accepted in a conference and present that, all this will be considered as experience. The fellowship itself is after you graduate from medical school or dental school, so it's postgraduate experience for you guys. So whatever part of the application you want to fill, you can put as many from this fellowship program. You can put it in more than one place if you like. If I answer the question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nadir, and thank you again for uploading our letters. And We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good luck, and wishing you all the best.
Dr. Nader, I just wanted to understand how we should present the process of uploading the app to Google Play Store. Should we make a presentation?
Not that presentation for the, but if you want to put it in, I don't know, document or slide or some with the Nafisa mentioned, there are some videos, so if you can collect. My goal or my approach is if a new team work on a new app and they want to work on that, and for some reason you are busy or you are not available, and then they have to start from scratch. They have to find out which video to do that, what step, and they're gonna go through the same maybe trouble and try to figure it out. If you went that route, or if you already figure out some of the videos that are helpful and some of the problems, how to solve it, and each step, if you can put all this in one document, Google document or slide presentation, like just one document. So if I want to develop an app, I finish my development of the app I want to upload, I'm gonna just follow all these steps that you mentioned, or look at these videos that you notice, if that makes sense for you. So that instead of taking the time with you and going through the steps, if you are not available, Nafisa is not available, then some of the other fellows can just follow the document or the slide of the file one by one, and if there is videos there, you can just refer to the videos. They can look at that video and then continue the steps. So hopefully they will finish all the steps and the videos. They look at it and finish uploading the document on the APK file to the Google app. If there is, let's say, a requirement for the image, you want to put some images, upload them. So the requirement is supposed to be 200 by 300, something like that. Then they can use, let's say, Canva. So for them to figure it out, if they don't know, they have to submit the image, and then they will get an error message. The file is too small, or the file is too big, or whatever. Then they have to figure out how to fix that, which program to fix it. If you already know there would be a requirement to fix the problem using Canva, so if you put it in a stepwise manner in a document, let's say Google document or Google slide, then they will follow step 1, step 2. When it comes to the image, I'm gonna take the screenshot, I'm gonna modify it using Canva. So the requirement is 200 by 300. I'm gonna put that. When I'm uploading it, I'm not gonna expect any error mistake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I also have another suggestion. We are about to upload the Arabic version of pressure care. I suggest that we can make it live on one of the meetings so everyone can see it.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so I will discuss with Dr. Nafisa, and inshallah we will be able to make it live.
Okay, let me know when, and we can make a spot or a slot where you can just go ahead and show us how to do that.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
That's a great suggestion. Thanks. Dr. Sahar, you are raising your hand. Go ahead if you have comments or questions.
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand. I already asked my question. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Thanks. Any other ideas, any other suggestions, any questions regarding the fellowship, any questions regarding the projects that are going or updates? So
Dr. Nader, I guess I would like to say one suggestion regarding when we put the app. A lot of people, they ask me where they put it in the experience or publication, because it's not published as a paper. We cannot put it in publication. I don't know if it's okay. We'll put it in the section that when we have the achievement, because when we put it with the section with the telegeriatric research experience, sometimes it can get missed in the middle. So
what I suggest is, again, it's similar to the fellowship. If you think you can put it in more than one place, that would be great. Because it's not a publication as far as paper format or so, but it's like the virtual poster. You can add it in the poster section or publication section, and you can document in it between parentheses that published in the web store or Google store. This will be documented as a project that's completed. It's not it's self-publication for reading, but it's useful as far as you publish some work. You can add it in the experience section. You can add it in the extra curricular activity of the last part of the application, as you mentioned. So the more, the better, because remember, when they read your application, they're not gonna.
أنا عندي محاضرة عادة بمشي البيت أسمع محاضرتي وبعدين أجي لكن الليل عشان سحر ما في. أيوه. اللهم آمين دعواتي.
They are not gonna go over meticulously detailed about your application. They can read your name, maybe the school, maybe the background, and then if they are interested in the research part, they're gonna look at your research section, web application, and so forth. For someone who's clinician, they can focus on the clinical part. What's your clinical experience? For someone who is interested in hobbies and so forth, they will look at the last part of your application. Maybe they focus on that. So if you put it in multiple areas in your application, there is no wrong doing that, but you can catch the eye when they look at your video or when they look or review your application. Thank you.
thank you so much, Dr. Nader. I appreciate it.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. Fatma, followed by Saria.
Hello, how everyone? How Dr. Nader? How are you?
Very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. About a research about the role of automated external defibrillator use and outpatient cardiac arrest survival rate and outcome. We almost finished our research, and Dr. Mohammed Osman, he said that he sent you an email. So we really appreciate your feedback.
So I think he mentioned that we're still working on some part, and so I'll be looking at whatever he sent me. But if you have completed all, then you can resend the whole thing to me. I will review all and then give you feedback. So I'm going to start, and then if you have more materials, that would be great. Thank you, Dr. Hamid.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome. Saria, followed by Dr. Nidhal. Go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Nader, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for uploading my LOR. I have a question. In my ERAS, I want to upload my presentation in telegeriatric in publication section. So can I make it like this way? Add the oral presentation, name the topic, and put you as author.
So that can be done, but it's like extending it or stretching it too much. When they talk about oral presentation, usually they want you to present in a conference kind of setting, not in an educational part. Like during your residency, you're going to present some of the topics. So these are not considered oral presentation as such. It's just for the training. So in our didactic part or the presentation part here, we consider it's educational part, sharing information between new fellows and improving your knowledge skills and experience, something like that. But if, let's say, you worked with a team to create a webinar, that would be considered as a top presentation because the audience of could be big and the impact could be big. If a seminar, if you go to actual presentation in a conference, you are invited to present something, then it's going to be a top presentation, and that should be considered as top poster or presentation. But in our team here, I think you can mention it in your either CV, the application address, and your person statement, or during the interview, you can talk about I did this. One of the tasks I was assigned to is this. I'm not sure what part of the application you can add it, but again, you can add as much as you can in the ERAS application. There is no limitation. Just it's an idea of highlighting. You are trying to sell yourself. So there is no wrong or right way of doing it. Just do it the way you think is right. And you can share with the team and you have some good ideas.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. We try to sell ourselves through telegeriatric research. Apology. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, Dr. Nader, thank you so much for uploading my, thank you so much. My voice is far. How is it now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for uploading my letter of recommendation. I want to just ask simple question, like in the part of publication regarding the oral presentation or poster presentation, when I should ask my name as presenter or an author, I should write my last name, then I should comma, I should write the first initial and then middle initial, right? So if I just write my last name, let's say Siddig, and then I did comma and I write my first name N for Nidhal, is it enough, or I should also write the first initial or the first letter for my middle name?
So there is, again, no right or wrong. People here use last name, first name, and sometimes they add the middle initial just to differentiate between similar names. So if your name is Muhammad Ahmed, in Sudan, for example, Muhammad Ahmed will be a lot of them. So if your father is Nadir, it's going to be Muhammad Nadir Ahmed, so it's going to be last name Ahmed, M, N, the two letters, just to differentiate. But if you make the last name and the first initial, there is no wrong with that. The way nowadays to prevent this from getting confused is using the DOI. So each presentation that's published in, let's say, PubMed will have a unique number. That number will identify right away the, let's say, poster or paper if you use that DOI number. Each engine or each database, they have their own ID number. So you can use either one, but the DOI is kind of universal, is the general address for your paper. So if you want to put that in your publication list, put your name whatever way you want, there's no problem. And at the end of the citation, put that number so that if, let's say, I'm reviewing your application and I want to look, I'm interested in the topic or your article, and then I can use that ID so that I can find it. And instead of using your name and middle initial, there will be a lot of Nidhal with S or Siddig with N. For me, it's going to be hassle which one of them and which topic. So with that URL number, it's faster and it's valid.
So like it doesn't make a difference, like if I wrote it in a correct way, or
make a difference for the journal. You can put either way.
Either. Oh, okay, got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments, or ideas?
Hi, sorry to interrupt. I just want to ask for people that are joining and they were planning to apply for the next year. So about the letter of recommendation, like, should we just ask you to like have it now, or we can like next year, hopefully like.
Next year, it's a good question because during this year, many things will happen, will change. So let's say you will be a team leader, you will be working on 2 projects and you'll be whatever. Then at that time, when I write the recommendation letter, it will have or some of the content will be what you have done during this time. I will highlight the most important things. Let's say Dr. Amar on Nafisa completed their application app and published in the store. So I'm going to highlight this in their recommendation letter. So for you, by the end of next year, let's say in September, if you have a mobile app, that would be great. So I will highlight that in your recommendation letter. And it's going to be something you need. So you try to work on something that is going to be beneficial for you, hopefully beneficial for the readers, and also if you develop a product that can be also of help to others, that would be great. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you.
Excellent. So I have one of the graduates who matched last year to one of the programs. He is interested in cardiology, and he is interested in doing some research work. So next year he can apply to cardiology program. So he would like to start with one team or more than one team, one idea or more than one idea regarding anything in cardiology. So if you guys are interested in cardiology, if you have ideas, or if you're working with cardiologists, you have some ideas to work on, but they don't have time sometimes with the clinical practitioners might have some ideas, some patients, some cases, they want to publish, they want to write, but they don't have time. If you come across and you have idea or talk to some people about some of the ideas, let us know so that we can match you with this doctor, so that you can have someone who guide you, mentor you, and at the same time you have some work to do, some project can help you in the future, it can help him, it can help the clinician if there is one there. So it's kind of collaboration. We did that in the past with some of the group. We published, I think, 2 posters. So we can review that. We can do posters, we can write papers, and if you'd like, we can develop an app specific for patients with, let's say, heart failure. Heart failure is a big problem for hospital because nowadays rehospitalization will be a big issue for them. They will be penalized if they have a patient who they discharge and come back within 30 days. So a lot of people are working hard to prevent readmission within the 30 days, especially for patients with heart failure, for example. So if we can develop an app where we can work with hospitals on discharge, we can follow the patient, and then the patient can document that their weight and how much they take as far as the ethics and symptoms wise. They can do that every day. And if there is anything that's out of the north and the northern range, it's kind of black, and then someone will contact them, or they can contact someone, and then hopefully we can adjust the ethics and prevent the readmission, something like that. So if we have some ideas along these lines, might help. You guys might help the patients, the hospital, and these previous graduates. Well, think about this and let me know if I can be of help. Any other questions?
Dr. Nader, actually, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, like if I'm applying for a specific specialty, it's not internal medicine, since like geriatric is not a subspecialty of it. When you wrote for me the letter of recommendation, very like just talking about geriatric thing, and you didn't mention the specialty in which I will apply for. Is this will be against me, or it will, like, since you mentioned everything, it's will be okay?
So it's gonna be okay, but it's gonna be better if you let me know what area you are interested in, so that let's say you are interested in neurology, then I can define that in the letter, so it's gonna match your application and your recommendation letter. If you want to go to psych, I'm gonna add that in the letter. If you go to pediatric, I'm gonna add that to the letter. So if you want me to make it better, let me know which specialty that you are interested in, which one you want to apply to, so that I can make as many as you want. Let's say you want to apply for family, internal, and psych. I'm gonna make 3 letters for you, so you can assign each letter to which specialty when you apply.
So asking, like, since the deadline is approaching in 2 days, could I just send you a new request and just you can personalize more towards the specialty I will apply for, and I could at the beginning sign that previous one, that old one. Could I just like re-sign that one? If I, let's say I will assign 4 letter of recommendation, could I just change one of them after I get the new one, or I can't? I will get stuck to the first one I got assigned at the beginning.
I think you can assign the same number the previous one is when you sent to me. I can just upload the new version for that, but I need to know that ID number, which letter goes to it, and then you decide that letter supposed to match the specialty. Let's say you're interested in psych, I'm gonna write the letter for psych, I'm gonna upload it to that number. So for you to look at that number, because you don't have access to the letter, you don't know if the letter to the site. I want you to make sure that number when you submit it to site is gonna match with the letter.
Yeah,
if you want to make new numbers, request that also absolutely fine for me.
Like I can change it with the previous same ERAS ID. I should create a new request, right?
Go ahead, request a new request with the specific, each one is specific. Internal medicine and family medicine will be the same, more or less.
Same, yeah.
But if it's neurology or other, then let me know so that I can separate it from the rest.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. So we have a few minutes. If you have any questions, comments, please let me know or interrupt me, raise your hand. So I'm going to just share with you some of the tips, let's say. When I was in the residency, we were taught how to handle bedside manners with the patient. So one of the talk was the perception from patient view. So the patient will look at you and assess how much time you spent with them according to your distance. So if you come and say hi, you are standing in front of the door of the room, it's considered you spent less time than if you come to the room and sat down beside the patient and ask the question and get out. If you spend the same time from your perspective, 10 minutes for the patient, they will look at that and they say you spent only 5 minutes when you are standing by the door, and maybe you spent 15 or 20 minutes when you sat down. Although the time for the physician is the same, but the perception for the patient is different, and they prefer that you be close to them and eye contact or sit down, and that will be considered positive or preferred bedside manners. So this sort of thing, they have been studied. So we can look at that and do some of the, let's say, literature review of what's the new, and we can compare them. Let's say these were not happening during COVID because of the mask or the glass or whatever. Then they want us to keep the distance. So what's happening to the patient perception? If there are some papers or some literature in this, you can look at them and then compare before COVID and after COVID, what changed, something like that. So some new ideas. Dr. Matas, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Dr. Nader.
Hello.
I just had the question about the letter of recommendation. I got the notification that you uploaded my letter of recommendation today. I'm applying for multiple specialties, so internal medicine, pediatric, and med peds. So I just wanted to ask if I need to make another request, or does the request goes with the specialties that I chose?
If you can send multiple requests, each one for different, because they are different. The ped and I'm ped more or less the same, but I have to specify that compared to internal medicine alone or family medicine alone. So
yes, okay, thank you so much.
you're welcome, no problem. Good luck. Any other questions? Comments? Go ahead. Naima, go ahead. Dr. Naima, do you have question or comments or? Okay. Oh, sorry. You can unmute yourself and go ahead with your question. Go ahead. Sorry, your voice is kind of in and out. I can't hear you clearly. You can try the chat, or you can try to unplug your mic and see if that can fix it. Okay. Go ahead.
I want to let you know that I'm interested in pathology. I'm gonna walk like here. I'm not. Okay. Since I am interested in pathology.
Sorry, your voice is kind of in and out, so I couldn't catch the. If you were asking about the letters, again, if you want to request, you can go through IRAS application. You can request some letter of recommendation, but you can ask for more than one, depending on how many specialties you want to apply to. Otherwise, you can use the chat maybe. If I didn't get the question right. Someone can, maybe Nasad or Ahmed, can you share the WhatsApp group, the big group for the new fellows in the chat? Anyone can help so that they can join the big group with the chat?
Yes,
chat.
I will share it.
All right, that would be great. Thank you. All right. If there is no more questions, the question is, can I use one letter for both internal medicine and family medicine? Yes. So my letter will be like, you will be interested in helping all the adults in general, so that will be applied for internal medicine or family medicine. And doing this fellowship, it's going to help you be a unique applicant for the program that you're applying to. So hopefully it will help. It's not going to help if I write to you that you are interested in geriatric, but you use the letter to use it for pediatric, for example. So this is why I'm asking to request more than one letters if you are applying to different specialties. Any other questions? Any other comments? If not,
hello, Dr. Nadir.
Hello.
I'm Dr. Minu. I have a doubt, like you already discussed about it. I just wanted to confirm it. Regarding the oral presentation, I have done 2 oral presentations. So as you said, we can add that in our CV in ERAS, but we cannot add it in the under publications. Like they have a drop-down menu kind of oral presentation there. So we cannot add in that area, but we can add in the CV of ERAS, right?
Correct.
Am I telling them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm it because I added in the oral presentation area, so I may need to change it.
So again, don't take me like my words for solid. The ERAS application is kind of writing your CV, and it's easier for the program to go step by step, like organized fashion. There is no wrong way of putting it everywhere, but there are common things that people will look at or expect. Like when we talk about posters, it's going to be under papers and the publication. So all come together in one place. In general, we call it research. But it doesn't matter if you add our talk here, there. As I said, this is kind of a stretch of what we usually do. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm writing as an experience like the telegeriatric fellowship is an experience for me. So under that, I'm when I explain, I'm writing like I have done oral presentation during our weekend webinars, kind of, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Remember, it's just shining your application so that you can sell. So everyone will read that section, will get some, will be intrigued to read more or to know more about you. So when they invite you, you can expect some questions about the fellowship or about what you did in the fellowship, or if you have projects, what kind of projects details that you can share. So again, if you work on a paper, then they will ask you about the paper. If you work on app development, they may ask about the app. What's your
Yeah. Okay, thank you, doctor. And also once more, I want to thank you for the letter of recommendation you have given for me. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Wishing you all the best.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. Thank you for uploading my letter. I just have a question about the higher education. I took the community medicine, the Arab board community medicine, but actually I don't know where to put it. I don't think it's the higher education because they said it's something for American graduates, not for us. And I don't know. Also in the graduate, there's also a field for graduate or something like that. I didn't find any community medicine inside like the checklist. So do you have any idea where should I put that?
It's a good question, but it's a tough question for me. I didn't use the ERAS for a long time, so I'm not sure what the new version I had. Last week, I think someone shared part of the new application and the drop-down list. So if you don't mind, you want to share your screen and let's see what options are there. Maybe we can help, or someone of the fellows here, maybe they can give you feedback. In general, yeah, go ahead, Dr. Nafisa. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm actually, I was opening the ERAS in front of me right now, so I thought to let you know that regarding, it's supposed to be post graduate training, but the problem that is it's something like for American, it's more about than us. Like the option that they have, that's ACGME residency, ACGME fellowship, American Osteopathic Association fellowship, also American Association Osteopathic Association internship and residency. So I don't think there is a way that you can put it on post graduate training, but that's where it's supposed to be. But I don't know how she can put it there. So either she can just put it as it's a postgraduate training as an ECGME residency, but she just like have to illustrate or elaborate more about what is that for or what is that about. Because ACGME, I think that's only for US, right? That's not considered. The Arab board is not going to be. So the other option, just to put it in higher education.
I think it can apply to higher education better. So if you can
Yes.
put it there, go ahead, put it there.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if I can put it in the higher education, but they already like wrote it is something for US graduates, and like most of the non-US graduates, they will indicate none. But I didn't like find other way to put that. Or maybe we can put it on the education, medical education. So I'm not sure, but yeah, maybe I'll contact Dr. Nafisa and discuss about that. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome. So just an update, Dr. Naoud, you sent the material. Okay, so we will look at it and see. I will get back to you. So excellent. Good work. So we know we will have the NAPCREC meeting presentation hopefully soon. And then also GI presentation will be in Canada also soon. Excellent. Any other questions? If no more questions, then go ahead, Dr. Naoud, again.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Dr. Nafisa was explaining about where to put the telegeriatric research fellowship. I was also thinking about that. So I think the most safest place to put the fellowship is in higher education or medical education. And the risk place to put it is the postgraduate training, because yesterday I checked all the abbreviation requirements which were clearly stated in the segment of postgraduate training, which says, please add an entry for any current or prior AOA or AOA residency internship, AOA fellowship, ACGME residency, or ACGME/RCPCS. So all this are, I think, subcategorically integrated system of fellowship, which are accredited by the governing body. So I think putting it in the postgraduate training would seem a bit risky as compared to putting it in the medical education or higher education, because this one specifically says that they should be accredited by these bodies.
I think higher education might be a better option. You are right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing this and clarifying. All right. If there's no more questions, I'd like to thank you so much today, team and Amar, and for your moderating the meeting and presenters from today. Thank you so much. Great presentation. I'd like to thank all the attendees from today's meeting and also those who will come to review the recording later. I wish you all the best. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, share good news and good luck with all your hard work. Assalamu alaikum. See you next week.
عليكم السلام ورحمة.
Have a good night.
عليكم السلام دكتور نادر. في أمان الله.
عليكم السلام.
Alaikum salam, Dr. Nader. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Nader.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Dr. Nader.
Thank you, Dr. Nader.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nader.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Nader.
Thank you.